Welcome back to Her Sacred Hustle. Now, things look a little bit different. I am video recording this on my own as a solo episode for the very first time. And it feels a bit scary. It feels a bit out of my comfort zone. But as we know, growth doesn't come from sitting in your comfort zone. You may or may not have noticed that I haven't actually uploaded a solo episode for a good couple of weeks now. The reason for that is I want to be totally transparent, is that I've been having a bit of a creative block when it comes to the podcast and content, but in particular the podcast. I think there's a few reasons for that. I have had a lot going on at home. Nothing bad, but just, mum life, business life. The Her Sacred Hustle mentorship is popping off and thriving, which I'm really happy about. But I was kind of building that mentorship as I had clients in it, which FYI, if you're ever thinking about like doing a course or mentoring people, there is no better motivation to get something done than already having paying clients in it and waiting for it. So I think the mistake that people often make is creating a course or creating a program, and then once they've created it, trying to get clients to come in. And you can do it that way. But if you promote the course, promote the program, promote the mentorship, get people in, and then start building it, you collapse timeline because you've got no choice but to create it. And obviously, I didn't create it from scratch as soon as I had a client. I did have some stuff in there ready to go. But as we went on, I created more and more and more. And now the mentorship is fully built and I'm so proud of it. It contains an online portal that has training videos, guided meditations, subliminal audios. You also get 4 one-to-one calls with me over the 6-month mentorship, which actually has been my favorite part. And again, being transparent, that was the part I was like a little bit nervous about starting, because I had all the limiting beliefs come up that I am stepping into this new identity of being a business and mindset mentor. And when you step into a new identity, it can be really scary. It can feel really scary because your nervous system is like, no, that's not safe. We don't know that's safe because it's not familiar to us. So I had all these limiting beliefs crop up. Like, what do I even say when I get on these calls? What if I have nothing to say? What's the saying? If you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. I think that's true in some cases. So I wrote down some questions that I would like to ask my clients on their first one-to-one call to really get to know them. So I kind of based it off that. But actually, when I got going, well, you know me, when I got going, I had so much to say, so much wisdom to share. And yeah, the one-to-one calls are my favorite part. I'm absolutely buzzing when I get off a call with one of my clients. So long story short, that has been going off in the background and that is fully built now. So I feel like I have a little bit more time to spare. The boys, my 2 beautiful boys who are now 7 and almost 4, continue to be as energetic and wild as they always have been, if not more. I just feel like they're fighting all the time now, to be honest. So I just constantly feel like I am breaking them apart. But it's all, normal sibling behaviour. And then with my aesthetics business, which, is my baby, the reason why I started all of this was because I grew that to 6 figures in just its 2nd year, which I'm so proud of. And now I help other people do it exactly how I did in terms of using my spirituality. But that business, I still have that going. It's ticking along nicely. I don't particularly need to actively grow it anymore. I have good word of mouth recommendations, good following on Instagram. So it kind of runs itself in a sense. But the last couple of months with that business have been crazy. I've just been really, really busy, been hitting over 10k months every month the last few months. So yeah, really thriving. But obviously that is a service-based business. So it requires me to show up physically to be able to perform the treatments. Not just that, obviously I have my set working hours, but with more clients and more treatments comes more admin. So there's just been a little bit more behind the scenes that I've had to do there too. So that means that the podcast, with all those things in mind, has taken a little bit of a step back. Another reason is I felt like I had a bit of a creative block when it comes to the podcast. And there's a few reasons behind that. Number one, I was finding that I didn't feel like I had much to say or anything new to say, which probably isn't true at all, but it's a limiting belief, isn't it, to keep me small and to keep me safe. So yeah, I felt like I didn't really have anything profound to say. that I hadn't already said. So I had a really good word with myself over the last week or so, and I listen to a lot of podcasts. I love a podcast. I listen to them when I'm driving in the car, when I'm in the gym, always got a podcast on. And the podcasts that I listen to really regularly, especially like the self-help and business ones, they do often talk about the same things. And they even have 2 episodes that are basically called the same thing. It just goes to show that actually not everybody is going to listen to every episode, or not everybody is going to consume every piece of content that you post on social media, especially because we know what the algorithm is like. So it just made me think, actually, it doesn't have to be something new and profound every time. So then I thought, well, maybe that creative block is also coming from the fact that I feel like when I'm just sat in my front room talking to my laptop, it feels a little bit impersonal, like I'm just speaking to the wall, not really getting anything back, which I guess I'm not right now either. But basically I felt like I needed to zhuzh it up a little bit to get my spark back. So I've wanted to get on YouTube for a long time, and I've been putting it off for visibility fears, fear of judgment, perfectionism, all the usual things, which I'll go into in a bit more detail in a second. But I thought, no, I'm going to get back on the podcast and I'm going to record it and I'm going to put it on YouTube. And that's the thing that is going to get my spark back. So here we are. And so coming on to that perfectionism thing, the belief that was holding me back there was, well, I don't have a podcast studio. I don't have all the fancy cameras and the lighting and the soundproofing and all the stuff that would make it perfect, and the really nice Her Sacred Hustle sign behind me. You can imagine the vision that I had for that. And then I listened to a podcast episode with Florence Given. Now, if you don't know Florence Given, get to know, because she is just an absolute badass queen when it comes to all things self-development, especially for women. And I was listening to a podcast episode of hers that was like, when you are a really high achieving, ambitious, driven woman, perfectionism shows up a lot. That can be good in certain ways because it means the quality of your work is great, but actually it can hold you back, and it often does hold you back. So Florence, bless her heart, was saying that it's important to get comfortable with being mediocre. And that's not to say have big dreams, big goals, big visions, high standard of work. It just means that in order to get the ball rolling, you need to get the ball rolling. And if that means doing something slightly mediocre, slightly less perfect than you would have wanted to, then that's fine. But if you don't start, you don't start. If nothing changes, nothing changes. So that's how I felt with this recording of the podcast, was that actually it's okay to do things mediocre. So I'm currently sat on the floor in my bedroom with my mic in my hand, because it usually comes on a stand, but I've got nowhere to put it. Ring light, phone that's recording, and I thought I'd just set a little bit of mood lighting up. Got my crystal behind me. This light here, the orangey greeny light, that is actually, I used to use that for my yoga classes that I used to teach, and it will do for now. I don't think it looks that bad, and the quality's okay. Hopefully the sound's okay. So we're going to do it. We are doing it. So welcome to Her Sacred Hustle, which is now on YouTube. I did it. And I don't know what that will bring, but I just know that all the podcasts that I listen to, there is a video version of, and you kind of have to keep up with the trends, with the vibes, with how people consume content and how people consume long form content. So obviously podcasting is long form, and I tend to listen to most of my podcasts on Spotify, actually, with just my headphones on or in the car, so I'm not actually watching them. But I will watch podcasts when I'm like doing my makeup or getting ready to go out, just having it on in the background. So it's just another way to connect with people and hopefully build a bigger audience on YouTube as well. And if I'm totally honest with you, you don't get paid for views on Spotify unless you have like a ridiculous amount of listens. We can't compete with those big podcasts. Not yet anyway. Whereas with YouTube, obviously with subscribers and views, you can get paid for that. So total transparency there. That's another reason why I'm doing it. Old entrepreneur mind over here. And then another thing that I have changed is I no longer have a script. So my old episodes, because I wasn't recording them, like on a camera. I was just recording them using my mic. I did have a script in front of me that depends what mood I was in, to be honest. Sometimes I'd write it and just read it. Sometimes I would just bullet point and then ad lib. But I've decided that the reason I was doing that was because of the perfectionism. And I wanted to make sure what I was saying was concise and that I really say what I mean and mean what I say. And I think sometimes when you're not reading off a script, you can sometimes feel like you're pausing for too long. So you try to fill an awkward silence by saying something that you don't really mean. And let me just get that clear for 1 second. That is a limiting belief. Because as I'm saying that, I'm realizing that if I say something that I don't mean, or I say something wrong, then people might judge me for it. So therefore that is just a fear of judgment. We don't do fear of judgment over here. We do what feels aligned, and this feels aligned. So yeah, I'm just going to say what I want to say, and if it lands, it lands. Hopefully it reaches the right people. So if this is the first time you are listening to Her Sacred Hustle or watching Her Sacred Hustle, I really would urge you to go back onto Spotify or Apple and listen to some of the previous episodes, because I have been going for over a year now. My regular listeners will know that this podcast is called Her Sacred Hustle because it's all about womanhood, spirituality and business. Because one thing I am passionate about is the fact that your business only grows to the extent that you grow. And that's the main message of this podcast. So as I continue with these videos and uploading them onto YouTube, I'm going to be exploring all things womanhood, all things spirituality, all things business, and how those three things actually intersect. So I'm particularly speaking to women in business, and I'm particularly speaking to women in business who are also spiritual. So I'm talking that you believe in the law of attraction, that you have dabbled with manifestation, that you love a crystal, that you believe and trust in the universe and the power of the universe, but you also believe in your energy and your vibration, and what you put out, you get back. So this is not a business podcast, which is all about masculine hustle strategies. I'm going to give you strategies, of course, because we do need some strategy for growth. But this is more about becoming the woman who creates a sustainable business and creates sustainable success. Because if you don't do the inner work first and you just follow someone else's blueprint, someone else's strategy, you're most likely going to find, if you've not already, that it doesn't work for you. And then you're left wondering why it hasn't worked for you, but why it seems to work for everybody else. And that is simply because that strategy is not aligned with you, and therefore it's not sustainable. So what do I mean by aligned, an alignment, an aligned business? Well, I think there's so much noise on social media in particular about what success looks like and what success is. And actually, success means different to everybody. So my version of success could look very different to your version of success. But sometimes, because of all that influence that we see, we disconnect from what is really aligned to us in terms of success. So, you see these things all the time. I can get you to reach 30k months in 3 months. I can get you to 100k months in 6 months. And it's like, no, you can't. No, you can't, because there's no strategy and there's no single blueprint that is going to get someone to that point if their nervous system and their capacity isn't ready for it. You have to do the inner work, the nervous system regulation, the capacity stretching to lay the foundations of a successful business before you add the strategy. It's like building a house. You wouldn't build the house without laying the foundations first. And that's the mistake that so many people make, and so many business coaches are coaching, is it's all focusing on the house. And it's like, okay, but if you haven't got the foundations set right first, that house is going to eventually subside. It's going to eventually fall down. It's not a sustainable house. Another way I like to describe it is a cake. So the strategy is the icing on the cake, and the actual sponge of the cake is the inner work. It's your foundation. You wouldn't try to ice a cake when the sponge wasn't even there. You wouldn't have anything to ice. It would just slip right off. So yeah, enough of the analogies, but I hope that you get getting the picture here that I would just really urge you not to be focusing on what other people are doing or looking at other people's success and their strategies and comparing yourself, because comparison is one of the biggest things that is going to lead you to lowering your vibration and to burnout, because you only see the highlight reels anyway, don't you? Let's face it, you only see the good parts that people want you to see. They don't show you the tears behind the scenes. They don't show the stress they have that month trying to make payroll or trying to pay their VAT bill, or, you know, all the real things in business, because it's a roller coaster at the end of the day. So if you're ever seeing anyone in business on Instagram that looks like they're smashing it and just continuously smashing it, that's great. I'm sure they are doing well, but just know that they're on a roller coaster as well. So yeah, I've gone off on a bit of a tangent there, but first step is alignment. How do you get into alignment then? Well, I want you to think about, what are the things that make you feel good? What's your soul food? Is it exercise? Is it yoga? Is it seeing your friends? Is it going to the cinema? Is it meditating? Is it reading? Anything that calms your nervous system, nourishes your soul, you need to be doing more of that. And if you're at a point in business where things are feeling tough and hard and you're not seeing the growth that you're expecting, then I want you to put the pen down, close the laptop, and just go and do something that makes you feel good for about a week, or just a couple of days if a week is too much. High achieving gals, I just thought to myself, a week? Oh my God, take a whole week off? But seriously, if you feel like you need to take the week off because you're on the edge of burnout, then take the week off. It's listening to your body and listening to what you need, because your business can't run without you. You can't have a successful, healthy business if you're not healthy in your mind, body, and soul as well. So yeah, find something that soothes your soul. Do more of that. Then I want you to get a piece of paper and I want you to write on one side what your business currently looks like. And you're going to call it My Current Path. And you're going to list everything that's going on, how it's running, how it feels. And then on the other side of the page, you're going to write your chosen path. And that is how you really want your business to look, how you really want it to feel, how you really want it to fit around your life and around your other commitments. And just notice where the differences are, because that, my friends, is called an alignment gap. And you will see exactly where you're running your business from a place of misalignment. And often it's misaligned because we are striving for goals and striving for things that we think we should want instead of what we really want. So, you say that you want 10K months, but maybe the business that you have would require you to work way too many hours in order to achieve those 10K months. And in reality, what you really want, and the reason why you want the 10K months in the first place, is because you want more freedom. So therefore, working more hours in order to get the 10K months to have more freedom, it doesn't make sense. Make it make sense. So think about how much you want to earn. Think about how much time you want to have to actually live your life. And that's when we start building up this picture of a business that feels aligned to us. And when we run from that place and we build from that place, business feels so much easier. And the universe is listening. And when your mind, body, and soul, when your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions are all in alignment, it sends a very, very clear message to the universe about what you want. And the universe will co-create that with you. But you have to stay consistent and you have to stay devoted, because one thing I've learned is there is a little bit of a lag when it comes to manifesting anything with the universe and co-creating with the universe. And it's almost as if it's because the universe hears what you want, and as long as it's for the higher good, it's going to give that to you. But sometimes there's some work that has to be done in the background in order for what you're asking for to come into fruition. So sometimes there's a little bit of a lag, and that's where your consistency comes in. You have to stay consistent to meet the universe when it brings you what you're desiring. So stay consistent, stay authentic, stay devoted, and your business will grow. I promise you that. So I'm going to leave the first episode there. I feel like I'm finding my feet with this. I feel like not having a script is sending my nervous system into a little bit of a because of the fact that I still want it to be perfect. Oh, isn't that so annoying? I'm just going to like lay my cards on the table here. I am a recovering perfectionist. A recovering perfectionist. I know it's there. I know what it means. I know why it's there. And I am really working hard to move past it. And I am doing that. I'm taking small steps, intentional steps to stretch my nervous system, but also tell my nervous system that it's safe to not be perfect. And yeah, I'm working on it. So I'm going to wrap this first episode up here. And I really hope that you've enjoyed it and that you've got something out of it, even if it's just one sentence that I said that you needed to hear today. And if you have enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all the things, especially on YouTube. Now I'm thinking I might do a little bit of a tactical thing here because I really want to grow the YouTube. I might not put the video on Spotify, which means if you want to watch me, you've got to go to YouTube. I might actually do that. It's a really good idea. So yeah, go over to YouTube, subscribe, follow, also follow on Spotify so you're updated when there is a new episode. Comment, let me know what you thought, and also follow me on Instagram, which is at Her Sacred Hustle. I hope you all keep well, and I'll see you in the next episode.